And now we turn to a newer organization, Shattered Glass Project. Rebecca O'Neill is the artistic director, and Adrian Prendergast is a playwright member and currently working the early phase of directing a play for the next season. Rebecca O'Neill and Adrian Prendergast, good morning. Thank you so greatly for being with us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Really am looking forward to this because this is going to be an education for me along with our listeners to learn about the Shattered Glass Project. And I love the name. So, Rebecca, can you give us an overview, some insight here?
Yeah, the Shattered Glass Project is a theater company. We have a mission to amplify the creative voices of women, non-binary, and transgender playwrights, directors, and other theater makers. A lot of our work centers around career development for emerging artists and helping those artists build professional networks to support them throughout their careers. And Give Big has been a program that has been extremely supportive of the work that we do since we were founded 5 years ago. We were fiscally sponsored for the first 4 years, and last May we received our 501c3 determination, so we're a baby nonprofit now.
Wonderful. And so with having this new status and still being so new, we really are looking for support to keep this growing and really making this a great place for young artists, because we know this area is really big in the arts and particularly with theater, right?
Yeah. Give Big has been a way for us as a baby organization to share about ourselves with a broader community than we might have access to otherwise. And not only is it a way for us to invite people in as donors, but also as audience members. A lot of the work we do involves creating new works of theater, new plays, and we do a series of plays in progress script development workshops where the audience is actually a key part of making that new work of theater because the audience's opinion is invited into the development process. Adrian is working with us currently as a director, but previously they were a playwright involved with our incubator mentor program. And I don't know if, Adrian, you want to say anything about the benefits of staged readings and working with audiences to collect their feedback.
Absolutely. I mean, there's this huge difference between writing like a book and writing a play, and the difference is the audience. So it's invaluable during the process of creating that to have an opportunity to see what an audience thinks, what that feedback is, and sort of how it is received when it's spoken out loud in front of a group.
There's actually a specific critical response process that a lot of theater companies and other artists use that invites the audience to participate in feedback in sort of a structured way. It really centers the artist and what their questions are about their piece. I really enjoy it because it gives me a chance to respond to the artist in a way that is useful for them, but not critical, so to speak. I don't know, Adrian, as a playwright, what's your favorite part of asking the audience questions that they can respond to?
I love how sometimes unexpected the answers can be. When you write, it's so insular. So you're just like, oh, I know what this means. Or, like I've been looking at this page or this character for so long that sometimes it is so exciting and strange to like have someone else enter the equation and be like, this is what I got out of it. And to be like, whoa, well, I'd never ever thought about that before. And I'm the one who made it, like I can see it or I can't. So I really like just the integration of a new point of view into the process and like how that can really clarify things or, things that are not working or are. I think that it's really, really neat and weird feeling.
So that sounds like it's a very exciting time. You've not necessarily had negative experiences with it.
Yeah, I think, like at this point in a process when you're doing a staged reading, it's very helpful to not be precious about anything yet because it's not locked in, So any feedback that is constructive or, is parts that's not making sense, anything like that is perfect because this is what it's for, this is the time for it and it's only helpful.
And so this is something that you were working on 2 to 3 years ago?
The project that Adrian is directing for us is a piece that Adrian worked on in a staged reading format at the Distillery Festival, which is a project of Seattle Public Theater. Adrian is a multi-hyphenate artist, actor, playwright, and director. And for the project that I was referring to, Adrian's going to be the director. Take it away, Adrian.
Yeah, my first introduction to the script that I'll be directing next year with Shattered Glass was with the Distillery which was Matcha, now Matcha, as absorbed by Seattle Public. And I really fell in love with the script. It's by Jessica Moss. She's a Canadian playwright. She's got quite a few of her plays up on New Play Exchange, if anyone would like to check those out. And I think it's really a beautiful script, a beautiful story. And I was excited for a possible opportunity coming up to work with her again. And I've had such wonderful experiences with the Shattered Glass Project as a playwright. First in the incubator mentor program, where I worked on Carmilla as a playwright, and then more recently in their Works in Progress reading series, where I worked on another script, Side in a Sandglasses Skeleton Boar, in a staged reading capacity. And so I thought that this would be a great home for I'll Miss You When You're Gone, as a script that is four female characters of, various ages and the interesting relationships and dynamics between them. This seemed like a really great theater company to pursue this script with. And I talked with Rebecca about it and the board, and everyone seemed really excited. We brought Jessica in, who also seemed really excited. And I think that it's going to be a very exciting project altogether.
And it is still about a year away, right?
Ideally, we are in the process of applying for performance venues. It's one of the interesting things about being a fringe theater company in Seattle is that you are constantly looking for somewhere to perform your show. So we are hoping, fingers crossed, to be at Theater Off Jackson in the Chinatown International District. And our proposed time slot would be in early March of 2026.
There's so much about what I'm learning here that feels so organic, the way it evolves. There's a lot of trust and passion, I think, combined that goes into this.
I think there's a huge amount of trust. I mean, it's a scary thing for a director or a playwright to go to an established organization of any kind and ask them to also believe in the piece that they're bringing with them. One of the things that the Shattered Glass Project tries to offer people is a safe, creative, collaborative space and the time to put these projects together. I regard myself as a fairly new producer, and so it's just another step in the collaboration of making art with a group of other people.
In that, there's also, I would expect a lot of excitement. Yes, it's kind of scary, but exciting to, just see life come into it and to grow and to be. You have the play now, you're looking at the production becoming reality next year. So there's a lot of excitement with that.
Absolutely. I think my favorite part of doing theater is the collaboration and the really cool ideas that other people bring. And I've been really excited to take this script that I've loved for years and introduce it to Rebecca and to the board and hear what they've had to say. We had a little meeting with Jessica and show her some of the production ideas that we had. She had some feedback and thoughts as well. And it's really just awesome to be at a point in the script where, I have loved this text for years and years, and now I'm introducing it to other people and hearing what they think and have to say and the little pieces of themselves that they see in the words. And then I'm very excited for bringing designers on board, bringing cast in, having an audience, and just continuing to grow and grow the community affected by the script.
And all these other elements involved in bringing this play to the stage. This is all part of Shattered Glass Project, where new artists or budding artists are having the opportunity to do the work. Is that right, Rebecca?
Yeah, that is absolutely right. It's not that every artist has never done anything before, but it gives people an opportunity to take on the creative leadership of a project, to be in charge, to be leading other people. I think for directors in particular, it is one of those skills of, we talk about collaboration, but what does that actually mean when you're putting it into practice? And it is a skill that you can only learn by actually doing it. Yeah. And you have to trust people in order to start collaborating. So my hope is with the Shattered Glass Project main stage productions is that we are actually telling emerging artists that you had a great idea, you have a great idea, we want to support you as you bring it to life. And that's not an opportunity that you'll find in a lot of other theater companies necessarily, because oftentimes what they're looking for is people who already have the experience. Mm-hmm. Well, we think you can do this. We are going to give you the opportunity to have the experience and to grow and develop and practice these skills as an artist. I feel like we're a unique company in that way, in that sense of believing that people know what a good narrative is and that they can actually put the project together. I will say one thing I really like about I Will Miss You When You're Gone is that it has this age range in the women characters from, I think, 25 to 68 or something like that. Is that right, Adrian?
Yeah.
And, you have a set of professional relationships. You have people with all of the anxieties that living in the modern world is. There's a lot of country music, which is not something that you would maybe find in Seattle. So I think that's going to make it a unique story for our town. And I think this also, just in terms of the work that the Shattered Glass Project does, with these main stage productions, we're able to invite the community into seeing what we can do when we take a script past its starting point and actually physically realize it on stage with all of the elements that go into telling a story in a theater. We're inviting the community to be sort of our startup, do our startup funding. And also, I think we're inviting people to help us develop our creative futures, because we're looking at a world that might be. This is the way, your life could be. It's a play that deals with grief. And so grief is something we all go through, but we live through it by having a sense of humor about things. And I think that's another important thing about the play that we are looking forward to sharing with our prospective audience members. So just circling back, I think for me, Give Big is a time where we're not just inviting people to give us money, but also to be part of the experience and the art that we're making.
And I feel with what you have both shared, how this opportunity, the collaboration is so great to have the opportunity. You were saying specifically, Rebecca, that usually for a play to go on the stage, they're looking for a seasoned director. How do you get to be there unless you start doing something? So, Adrian, it feels like, here you are, you look like this young person. So I'm very excited for you that here it is. You're having this opportunity to direct. How does that actually feel for you?
Oh, it feels so exciting. I mean, it's really a great and cool opportunity. It's interesting because when I was in school and right out of school, there were a lot more mid-sized theaters in Seattle than there currently are. So it was a clearer trajectory of, how to start in a career path. And then a lot of those went away. And since then, it's been a little harder to figure out what it looks like to become a director, to become a playwright. And then here comes Shattered Glass with these wonderful educational opportunities, these wonderful early career opportunities, and this faith in young artists that have really given me a chance to do this in a way that is really, really exciting, and a trust that I really appreciate, and very happy to work with this group and to work with Rebecca.
Well, I'm so excited about this. The city needs it, as you were saying, Adrian. There's been so much change and so many theaters that have dropped away. But here's Shattered Glass and the opportunity for us in this area who I believe value theater, value the arts, to really step up. And that's where, in collaboration with Give Big, we have a really good opportunity, don't we?
I think so. It's a way for people to feel good about themselves. I think it's a way for all of the nonprofit organizations to be supportive of one another as well. One thing that Adrian and I have been discussing is there's discussion of suicide in this particular show, and we want to include support for people generally. So we're hoping to partner up with some organizations that provide suicide prevention, mental health care for folks who might be considering suicide. And there's also a lot of government workers featured in this particular show, and government workers are going to need mental health care. Yes. And support and love from the rest of the community, especially with the way things are going at the federal level right now. So as an arts organization, we don't regard ourselves as being separate from the rest of the nonprofit world. We are one of the ways where people learn empathy, not only for others, but also for themselves. And by partnering with support groups for post-show talkbacks, for resources that we can put in our lobby or in the program or on our website, we're just helping close that loop so that people don't feel abandoned. I can't say it more strongly. It is a comedy about grief. So the emphasis is on comedy, but that doesn't mean that the empathy and the feelings aren't real.
It sounds like a phenomenal project, and we'll look forward to it. We'll have to get information along the way as to when this will actually be hitting the main stage, right? So keep us informed. But in the meantime, we as the community have this opportunity, a golden opportunity, to really support the work of the Shattered Glass Project, and seeing how, I get it, that your hearts, each of you individually, are here to really be collaborative with the community. And that's what it's going to take for all of us to really move forward and move upwards. So kudos and good success to your work and to your futures. So thank you both, Rebecca and Adrian, for being here and giving us such a good insight into the Shattered Glass Project.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for sharing your time here this morning to meet these amazing people and hear their important stories, all of which are key elements of our community and support great people and important events. Please check the station's websites for the podcasts for more information about these guests, and please share the stories with your family and friends. I'm Kate Daniels, and if you'd like to connect with me, simply send me an email, katedaniels@hubbardradio.com. Have an awesome day.
Thank you for listening to Inspirational Women. Tune in every Sunday morning at this time to hear about those truly empowering the Northwest community, all for the greater good. Sunday Morning Magazine and Inspirational Women are a public service of Hubbard Radio Seattle.